So yeah, when I saw the passive prospecting, I just thought like, I can do this. This is an opportunity to invest in myself. Plus, I like the idea of passive prospecting. Great name, by the way, because yeah, like you said, the videos are out there working for you all the time and you're constantly prospecting. People are watching your videos. And like I say, eventually, you get to a point where people start reaching out regularly enough, it fills your pipeline up.
Today, we're talking with my good friend Andy from California, who's been in real estate for about 10 years and had been prospecting all the traditional ways and was really just got tired of it. And then he came across what we were doing with passive prospecting, and he thought, yeah, I could do that with also some encouragements with some of his friends. And so, he decided to, go through the program, and then he set on it for 8 months. But he said that it just ate away at him constantly over that time frame. And then he decided, you know what, I'm going to go out there and just start creating some videos and actually put this into place, what I learned. After a few months, he had a couple of reach outs, but nothing had turned into real business. He started to become very skeptical. And then he said even that he was in our Facebook group watching all these other success stories happen. And it made him think, wait a second, is Levi paying some of these people to talk about all this success? Because he just wasn't seeing it until it happened. And now Andy's going down in the passive prospecting record books for closing the largest deal from YouTube at over $4.3 million. And we're going to talk about his journey over the last 6 to 7 months with his channel. Super cool guy. Plus, he's got an amazing accent. You're going to love him. Let's chat with Andy. All right, and welcome, my good friend Andy. How are you doing? All the way from California, right? Although you don't really sound like you're from California.
Well picked up, Levi. No, I'm originally from Leeds in England. My accent's kind of Americanized a little bit over the years. No one would understand me if I was speaking in Yorkshire. But yeah, I live in Monterey County, California. It's the area I've been serving for the last 10 years.
Oh, really? So the accent was a little thicker.
It's very thick. If I ever go back home, I'm straight back into Yorkshire accent like this, but no one's going to understand me over here from talking like this. So, got to kind of jazz it up a little bit.
All right, well, that's cool. So were you in real estate when you were in England?
It wasn't, no. I used to be a newspaper journalist over there. So it was a big kind of career shift. I moved to the States when I got married. I lived in LA for a year while my wife finished school, and that's where I got my real estate license. Worked for an investment company there for about 6 months, but it was kind of tough living in LA. It's, I'm from the north of England. I'm not built for Southern California. And then my wife one day suggested that we move back up to Monterey, where, it was an area where she grew up and has a lot of friends, and visited there a couple of times, and I really liked it. So yeah, there's certainly worse parts of the world to end up than Monterey County, California.
There you go. Now, was she visiting England when you met?
I was visiting over here. I was coaching soccer on like this course where you can get a work visa and just work, running summer camps for kids and working with a few teams. Just, kind of a bit of a jolly getaway to California. But yeah, I met my wife there, and then she followed me back to England for a bit. And then, we ended up deciding we were going to get married and did the fiance visa to get in. And now I've been an American citizen for the last 5 years. So very cool.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So, all right. So you got into real estate about 9 years ago?
Yeah, I think 2014 I got licensed, though, just past the 10-year mark. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And in your market, what's the average price point there?
So today it's probably around 800,000. So pretty, good area to be selling real estate in. When I started, it was probably closer to 500,000. Yeah, 500,000 barely gets you a condo around here today, but it's quite an exclusive area. We've got Carmel by the Sea and Pebble Beach. So one of the biggest sales I think we've seen in the county was 29 million off the MLS. And then Brad Pitt brought his $40 million down in Carmel Highlands last year. I think he actually sold it this year as well for the same amount. So there's big deals. There's a lot of, there's some rich people. It's a very exclusive area, but there's also, a lot of sort of normal priced houses as well. It's just expensive living in California on the coast.
Yeah. Okay, so before YouTube, then what'd you do for the last 9 years to generate business?
A lot of all the traditional things. I did a lot of handwritten notes. Obviously, your sphere of influence. I'm a soccer player, so I meet a lot of people from the soccer community, and all the British people around here always hang out as well. So
is there a heavy population of Brits over there?
It seems like it. I guess it's kind of that everywhere you go. Like the British people always going to hang out and just watch football together. But yeah, no, made a lot of good friends here, and everyone likes living out in Monterey. So, and I tried a few things, doing FISBOs and expireds with mixed results. it was difficult finding something to like really be consistent. And I've got 3 kids now as well. I've got 3 little girls, Kira, who's 5, and the twins, Ava and Mia, who are 3. So that's been taking up a lot of my time in recent years. And, you know, my lead generation efforts have kind of dropped off.
Hey, you should check out my new community for free. It's where I host all of my more in-depth trainings, and you're going to get access to step-by-step courses showing you how to get buyer and seller leads for your business using passive prospecting, a supportive community of over 1,300 members, and weekly group coaching sessions you can attend and ask questions. Now, this community is all about passive prospecting and getting quality buyer and seller leads through YouTube without spending a penny on ads or cold calling. Now, the link is in the description below, so make sure you join for free today and say hi to me when you get in the community. I look forward to seeing you there.
As you know, helping with the kids all day. So yeah, when I first saw the passive prospecting webinar, and I watched that, and it was, I think you must have put that together in 2022, and you were talking about the last couple of years selling Dallas and how people were reaching out through YouTube. And again, I was a bit skeptical at first, but I'd had a couple of other realtors who were doing YouTube channels and had, mentioned the success and said, you've got to do it. And I was just thinking, no, I can't do a YouTube channel. I can't film myself. I can't make videos. Like, just put it out of my head. Like, no, I'm not doing that. But by the time I saw the webinar, I was, starting to appreciate the power of video in business and real estate business. And yeah, just watching the webinar was enough to make me think, I can do this. I can be consistent at it. I kind of liked making videos, feel like I had a bit of video editing skills. I did a course on that while I was a journalist back in England. So yeah, when I saw the passive prospecting, I just thought, like, I can do this. This is an opportunity to invest in myself. Plus, I like the idea of passive prospecting. Great name, by the way, because yeah, like you said, the videos are out there working for you all the time, and you're constantly prospecting. People are watching your videos, and like I say, eventually, you get to a point where people start reaching out regularly enough, it fills your pipeline up.
Yeah. That's cool. So as a then were you a print journalist? I guess you weren't a TV journalist.
No, sadly not. No, I was a sort of print local newspaper journalist in Gloucestershire. So, hardly a household name, but I've been doing that for a few years. Wasn't a bad career, but as we had a saying, which is the hours are long, but the money's poor. So by the time I moved to the States, I was kind of feeling to do something else, and that's kind of why real estate spoke out to me. But yeah, I did a few sort of web videos for the newspaper back in the day. This was like 2006, so people were just kind of trying to figure out what newspapers were going to do in the future, and also video reporting and website stuff. So yeah, I was kind of interested in that, but then never really had a chance to do much with it.
Yeah. So then you're probably pretty good at writing stories then, right?
A little bit, yeah. So when I took the passive prospecting course in January 23, and I didn't do anything with it for 8 months. Like, I've finished it. I thought, this is great. I went through the school program, had my list of videos, signed up for TubeBuddy, did everything, and didn't film a damn thing. Like, it's a scary hump to get over. It's too easy just to give yourself excuses. I'm busy with this deal, the kids, all that. And then one day in October, like 8 months after it just got me one day. And I was like, right, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to go out, just going to grab the camera, like no script. So I just walked around my local neighborhood, because that was all I could think of. And I was thinking, there's no way this is going to be like 15 minutes long, because I just can't think of enough to say. But once I got out there and started doing it, you get over that initial embarrassment. It kind of flared out of me, and I put the video together. So looking back at that first video, it's really embarrassing, and I kind of hate it, just to think it's really poorly edited, and there's like 50 things I'd do different. But it's just getting out there and doing that first video, getting over the hump. And then once I did that, I think I filmed like another 10 videos over the next month or so, and I was ready to start uploading.
That's awesome. So, I mean, and I hear that a lot, how many times people have gotten the program and then just sat on it. So that day in October, was it just like, I'm going to go do it? Was there any certain moment? Did you see something else that kind of just reignited your
I don't remember. I don't think there was
just like
thing. I was at home. My wife was there with the kids. There's nothing going on, so I just kind of realized, look, I could get out and do it now. And this is an industry where you have to be a doer. And it just kind of grabbed me. So I said, right, you need to watch the kids for a few hours. I'm going to go out and then edit it together. And then once I'd done that, kind of like broke the seal. I was like, right, I want to go out and do more videos. My second video was a video on Carmel. I think it was like 3 price points. And that's been my most popular video. Again, I look at it and I just think it's horrendously edited. The story doesn't flow too well. But I think that's the video that the client watched who ended up buying the $4.3 million house. Because he was talking about Carmel. He must have been researching that. So I'm pretty sure that's the one he saw.
Hey, real quick, if you're thinking about changing brokerages or you're brand new and you're thinking about choosing a brokerage, well, Travis and I would love to talk to you about partnering with us at eXp. You'll get access to all of our coaching, training, and courses at no cost, but mainly we want to see if we're a good fit for each other. So just check the description below and you can book a call with myself and Travis, and we look forward to speaking with you.
So yeah, it's making a bad video is a million times better than not making a video.
Well, that's true. That absolutely. All right. So one day you just said, all right, I'm going to get up and go do this. And you started making those videos. Now, and let's talk about this a little bit too, because I look at you and I see a handsome fellow, looking good. And you've got a great accent to go along with it. I mean, that's kind of your differentiating factor, right? I mean, we're all, I always say it comes down to personality too. So even if there's 10 or 20 YouTube channels in your market, I mean, you are yourself, right? There's only one Andy. So ultimately people become attracted to personality. So even with all these things that most people would look on the outside and say, well, you've got it all. You've got it going for you, a good family and a handsome fellow. And then you got a cool accent because, all Americans are actually jealous of like British and Australian accents, So, we just automatically view you as smarter, right? You just sound smarter. And so we're like, so you feel like it seems like to somebody on the outside that you would have all the advantages, but then you're battling with a lot of the things that a lot of people battle with, which is just taking action, a little bit of fear from the camera. So when you actually took that step, was it literally just, okay, I'm just going to go do this, and then you work through that? Tell me about how that feeling was.
It was kind of like that. Like, yeah, I'd spent like 8 months procrastinating, telling myself excuses. And at the same time, I know I'm telling myself excuses because I know I can pick up a phone and go out and film myself.
And was it eating at you for 8 months? Was it like kind of
absolutely, yeah,
on the back of your, okay, all right.
Every day, I'm a bare bones kind of guy. I'm from Yorkshire. We're cheap people, and every day I think I've given that bastard Levi $3,000. I haven't gone out and started the course yet. What a waste of money. Come on, you can do this.
So how did you feel when you actually completed the video and got it over with?
I was kind of proud of myself. Like, I spend a lot of time editing them. I want to make my videos look as good as possible, and I look at those early videos now and I cringe, but I kind of like that they're up there because you can see the growth through the channel of how your videos form. But yeah, no, I was pleased with myself. I got a guy making thumbnails, so they look really good. And over the next few weeks, I filmed a few more videos, and obviously it's a skill. You get better at doing this as you go along. Obviously, really slow start with on YouTube, just a few subscribers and followers and views, but it's one of those things. It ramps up the longer you do it. So yeah, I took your advice and had a few videos in the bag before I started uploading. I was trying to do 2 a week. It's hard to keep that pace up sometimes, but yeah, I think I went 3 weeks without doing another video actually recently, but I was preoccupied with getting that big deal over the line.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can't let excuses get in the way again, right? And you don't want to miss out on momentum either. So, all right. So, and this is something I really talk about a lot about as well, is I always, especially when people have that hesitation, I would say. And it's just, you got to take yourself back to a place of something that made you hesitate before, but you worked through it. And then to remember that feeling of accomplishment, or, feeling proud of yourself, or, I'm so glad I did that. I mean, how many times have you done that in your life? Whether it was, I don't know, asking your wife to marry you, or, either starting a new gym routine, or actually getting into real estate, studying and getting your license. Those types of things usually are also a little bit scary, or you have some hesitation to say, oh man, you get nervous, am I making the right move or taking the next step? And then once you actually do that, you're like, ooh, first of all, it wasn't so bad. Second of all, man, how do I feel now? I feel so much better. And usually that helps just take the next step. But if you let that hesitation just sit there, then next thing you know, 8 months can go by. And then you start wondering, well, now that I closed a $4.3 million deal, what would have happened last year, right? But all right, well, we won't think in the past. So let's talk about the journey now. So you started creating videos. So you got through that. You were like, all right, finally I'm getting up, I'm going, I'm making the videos, not greatly edited, not great information on your viewpoint is what you're thinking, right? But you start to improve and get better. When's the first phone call, the first reach out from the channel?
So I uploaded my first video, I think it was like start of December 2023. My first couple of calls were in February.
Okay.
I think I got a text message from a guy who said he was down in LA. And then actually when I was leaving the Keller Williams Family Reunion Conference in Las Vegas, I got a second call from really lovely lady who was calling on behalf of her son. So I had a big long chat with them, and I was like, so psyched up and pumped afterwards. I was like, wow, this really works. And sorry, forgive me. Those two leads kind of ghosted on me. Then another couple of months went by, still uploading videos, numbers creeping up, but no reach outs. And I remember looking at your Facebook page, and the skeptic in me, Levi, was thinking, I swear all these people who are posting their success stories on Levi's Facebook group, I bet they're his mates who he's just, getting to do himself a favor and say, oh, look how great my prospecting course is. Or maybe thinking, maybe this was a great thing for 2020 and 2021, when there were like hundreds of buyers around, but now with high rates and stuff, it's not going to work as a good lead generating source. And I was starting to doubt myself. I was thinking, I'm putting all these hours and all this time and effort, basically like all of my free lead generation time, into the videos, and I'd hit a point where I want to make them look as good as possible. So I'm spending a lot of time doing that. And it's scary just not quite seeing the results, but everyone kept telling me, look, this is a long-term thing. You've got to give it 6 months, a year until your channel's going to start taking off and the leads start coming in. You need to pay your dues and get established and, build up a big database of videos. That's how people find you. And presumably YouTube algorithm wants to promote people who are being consistent, I assume.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's and you're right about that. I mean, it's a different market right now. A little bit more challenging, absolutely. A little bit more time to get some traction, absolutely. Plus, I think what we've seen in general in California is California's just been a slower market to YouTube. I mean, I can't tell you how many people we've worked throughout the whole state from south to north, and there just seems to be this delay in getting started. But it's like once they do it, you start to hit that compound effect. So all right, so you're starting to wonder, you're starting to doubt, you get a few calls here or there, nothing really serious. And then when does this $4.3 million client reach out?
It was barely 2 months ago. Like you would say, from contact to contract, it was less than 30 days.
Okay.
I think it was like the 6th or 7th lead, but it was just a Saturday afternoon. I think I'd been out shooting a video that day, and then just got a text message from this guy. Hi, Andy. My name is blah blah blah. We're looking at homes in Carmel by the Sea. We're going to be in town in a couple of weeks. I'm watching some of your YouTube videos. Are you free to show us around? I was like, it's great. Like you always say, Levi, when they're watching their videos, the videos are building rapport with you. So the people are already set on working with you. Now, the guy was really responsive as well. I kind of texted him back and said, hey, is it all right if I give you a call shortly? He said, yes. I had a good 10, 15-minute chat with him, told me what he was looking for. It is a really high net worth individual. So if anyone ever tells you, like, rich people aren't looking on YouTube, it's just not true. And this guy was based out of, excuse me. So this guy was based out of New Mexico, and he and his wife were looking at 3 different areas of California. And this guy used to be a realtor. He works as a developer. He knows his onions when it comes to real estate. So he had his local brokerage reach out and find him an agent in Laguna Beach, find him an agent in Santa Barbara. But he reached out to me directly, and he even told me during the escrow, he said, I just took a chance on you, Andy. And, I've been selling real estate for 10 years, but I've not done any transactions at this level. This eventually closed for 4.3 million. I think my highest sale before was 1.6.
Wow.
But, it's kind of like I don't want to say it's just like any other deal, because it's not, but it's the same contracts, it's the same forms. They're still human beings with, you're working with them. You want to find out what their goals and needs are. And do your best to service it. So it was, it wasn't a big step to be able to represent them and do a good deal even at this price point.
And he was probably wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
Yep, absolute scruffiest looking motherfucker I've ever seen when I first met him. Flip flops, jeans, But no, they were great. They're really nice people. We spent a couple of weekends like looking for houses, and then we went back to see this place because they liked it. It was the only one that was kind of checking the boxes for them. Bit more of a budget than they were looking to spend initially. But they brought their daughter with them to the second showing. And honestly, I think I owe her some of the commission because she was running up and down the house, big smile on her face, saying, "I love this one. I love this. Are we going to get this house? It's so cool."
Yeah. So really that was about month 6 or 7, right?
That was, if it was June, it would have been, month 7 of doing it. I got the reach out. Like you said, really, really responsive clients. And once we met them, it was fine. And I think 3 days out showing properties and made it work on the first one we put an offer on.
Now that's interesting because I just did the math real quick. And if you were doing a deal a month, that would be equal to a $716,000 home, which is right at your average price point. You said your average price point was around 800,000 in that market.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny too, right? Because if you would have got a deal every single month for the last 6 months, you would say, man, this channel was super successful, right? Or like you said, you're used to, because of the price points there, 1 to 2 transactions a month is
it's good eating.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, good eating. And so, but here, because it took 6 months, you start wondering, well, does this work? Should I keep doing it? All that doubt creeps in, like you said. But you saw the other reviews, the other success stories in the group, whether you thought they were real or not. And then you said, okay, all right, luckily you've got some good friends that, encourage you to keep going versus telling you, yeah, that's stupid, you should quit. Because you got to be careful about the friends you choose, right? Because some of them would say that, I would definitely quit, or that program is a scam or something like that. So, but you kept on going, and then your biggest deal, triple of what you've done as far as your highest deal. And that is literally worth, $716,000 if you were to sell a home over the last 6 months, every single month. And I think that has to be the biggest deal that we've known has come from, this system, this program. And
that's crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. You were setting the record now when it comes
to number 1, right?
Passive prospecting on YouTube. Yeah. It's funny because within the first, I think 60 days of me starting the channel, I got a reach out from a $10 million client.
Wow.
From moving from South Korea and then moving here to Dallas. And I was just like, this can't be real. This can't be real. And I hadn't sold any homes. So yes, we had a couple of phone calls, but this one I was like, and then whenever I said, well, now before I go out and preview some homes, because clearly in being in South Korea, he was like, I can't, I'm not going to be in town for another, month or 2, but there's a couple of homes I want to check out. And I'm willing to put in an offer, over the internet or something like that if we have to DocuSign. And I was like, okay. It's like, well, in order to do that, I'll need some proof of funds, and and then he sends me, like one of his accounts, with like 25 million in it. I was like, okay, all right, now we got proof of funds. And it wasn't some like doctored, I could tell it was an actual bank statement, and so I was like, wow. And then he, the funny thing is that he ended up buying a house, but not from us. So
oh, no way.
I lost that deal. What he said, and he was honest with me about it. He just said, hey, right before I called you, he said, I did call one agent about a particular house that they had. It was like a custom build or something like that. And I inquired with them and yada, yada, yada. And I ended up previewing like 3 homes for him over with video. And so anyways, he just said, we decided to go with that first home. And since we kind of went through that first agent and worked with them on that and everything, like we're going to sign the deal with them. And I was just like, oh man, boy, that hurt, for about a day. And then I was like, all right, well, back to work. So, so 4.3 million, that is amazing. Congratulations. Now, again, this is something that, some skeptics out there will be like, oh yeah, but still that to do that amount of business, whether that was over a year or in one deal, it doesn't matter, right? Because even the 4.3 million from a channel, even if you got one of those deals each year, would it be worth it to still make the videos?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not even a doubt. I mean, one thing I realized, I don't know if I can't remember if you said this in the course or I thought of it, but it's like every video is like a fishing line that you're casting out there to try and hook some clients. And obviously, the more fishing lines you got in the water, the more chance of success. And I think I looked out and caught a whale with this one. But like I said, I'm pretty sure he just watched my second ever YouTube video, which is my most viewed one. And it's terrible. I look at it now and I cringe.
And to the point of that is that one was literally a 6-month-old video.
Yeah, it would have been 6 months old at the time.
So even though it took him 6 months to reach out, because you had done that video 6 months earlier, it's still casting lines for you.
It's still, like you say, it's evergreen content. The videos are out there prospecting you forever. So you could have, who knows what I've got in the pipeline based on videos I've already made and uploaded that are going to pay off in another 6 months time or whenever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use the fishing analogy, but I do use I always say, people often say, I wish there was more of me, or I wish I had more hours in the day. Right.
Right.
But then a lot of times they don't have the budget for another one of them, or they don't know how to maximize their time in the day. But literally, if you took that client out to that same neighborhood, Carmel, and showed them around, I do say that conversation lives and dies with that one person, because once they go home at the end of the day and you go home at the end of the day, nobody else will ever know about that conversation except for your wife when you go home and tell her about it. Right. But now you have you, and I say, if you want another one of you and you don't want to pay for that, which means hire an assistant or an employee or, an operations manager or whatever, a CEO, well, make a video. If you make a video, now you have another you out there. If you make 2 videos, you have 2 of you. If you make 3 videos, you have 3 of you. And so that video is literally you showing Carmel every single day.
Yeah.
To how you can look at the exact views on that video. And I don't care if it's 10, 20, or 30 or 100 people a day watching that video. That is just as good as you touring that 10, 20, 30, 100 people a day around Carmel. And then that just leads them down the rabbit hole, right? They can check out your next video, your next area, or they're like, yeah, I kind of like this guy. He talks funny. I'm gonna give him a call, right? So that's awesome, man. 4.3 million, largest deal that I know that has closed. We do have somebody, I know we're working on a $6 million deal right now, and we have somebody else that's working on a $15 million deal. We got to get an update from them. So it's all possible, it's all possible. And that person with the $15 million deal is in Dallas. So I'm like, oh, they called them instead of us. So
you ruined it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, this person was reluctant to start their channel here because they feel like they're competing with me. They're like, well, you're so far ahead. You've got, and it's like, well, but again, you're a different person. And clearly somebody in our own backyard, and they got the call for a $15 million client and we didn't. So what does that tell you? Well, I know, no, I don't want to say I know, but I know we've got more videos. I know we've got more content out there. Whether or not it's better than her content, you could argue that. But the one thing that is the differentiation is the personality, right?
Right.
So even if she doesn't have as many videos as us, it's not, she's not as good on camera, you could say, as we are, or proficient, or, proficient, you could say, then still it didn't really matter. And going back to your point, it was one of your second or third video you published. You said it was not edited great. You feel like you ramble and bamble, and I still do that. Yep. Sometimes I get on videos and I hit stop on the record button and I'm going, did that make any sense? I don't know. And then when you edit that video or get it edited, you're like, okay, all right, that wasn't so bad after all. But really, again, as long as the information's on point and people are going to relate and connect and give you a call. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like you said, when I started off, it was just kind of my local neighborhood tours. And I was worried, do I know enough to make a 10, 15-minute video? And it turned out I actually did in my neighborhood. And as I grow and do, all the surrounding towns and villages and all the different types of videos, I'm putting more effort into like fully scripting it, doing research on the area and remember my wife grew up here, and then my last video I did on a place called Corral de Tierra. She always helps me out and watches the videos before I upload them. And she even said, like, I didn't know half of the stuff that you found and mentioned in the script. So yeah, I try and fully script it a bit more. I put in probably too much time into like editing and making them look good and polished. But I'm happy with my results, even though I'm could probably be doing better if I did more videos and worried less about the quality. Like, I do look at all the my local competitions YouTube channels, and like you said, it's not always, you can't tell who's got the best videos, but I kind of look at them and just say, like, it's clear that I'm putting more effort in. I think mine stand out a little bit more. And like you say, the British accent doesn't hurt. Levi does a little bit of heavy lifting for me there. But, yeah, people are attracted to different personalities. Someone might not want to work with me, who wants to work with someone else for whatever reason. But, the more videos you make, the more you put yourself out there, the more chance you're going to have connecting with more buyers, which obviously is the whole point.
Yeah, there you go, man. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and especially posting in the group. I love that, because you were one of the behind the scenes people. I love that when people come forward, and I don't even know, right? Because you'd never posted in the group before.
I don't think so. No, I might have commented a couple of times, but yeah, but it shows up in my algorithm.
Yeah, we never met at a conference, right?
No.
Yeah. So, and then that's what, and I just love that. I love when somebody comes from behind the scenes, who's been doing the work, and then it's like just like success all of a sudden. I was at a conference last week speaking, and this little lady, like half my size, came up and she was like, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you. I've done like 8 or 9 deals already for my YouTube channel this year, and it's super happy." And I was like, "Man, that's amazing." And it's really cool. And now we got to put you down in the record books, the passive prospecting record books. So
Number one, maybe.
there you go. Number one. All right. Well, good. So you got any final words of advice you would like to share? Any final words of wisdom for those out there as well, working on their channels and maybe struggling, or whether that's getting started or, thinking about not continuing?
Good question. I'm just trying to think what I could possibly say that you haven't already said a million times. But the number one thing is just to keep going, keep making the videos, put the time and effort in to making them look as good as you want them to. And just don't be scared. Like, it's terrifying the first couple of times you go out with the camera. You feel like a bit of a dickhead walking, holding a selfie stick. And, I've got a lot more sympathy when I see people doing that these days. Now I'm trying to do it. But it's quantity as well. Get the videos out there, try and make them good. But a bad video is 100 times better than no video.
Yeah.
And be consistent. Like, if you're a realtor, you must be a person who's a doer in the first place, because you wouldn't be in this industry if you weren't someone who just does things and doesn't think about them too much. So keep making videos. And
a talker, like you said, you thought it was going to be hard to make a 15-minute video, but I'm like, isn't every real estate agent a talker mostly? So half the time you can't get them to shut up. So
absolutely.
Yeah, once you start talking. But yeah, I mean, that's great, man. I mean, I just really appreciate you sharing the story. And it's amazing to see that success, and that's a nice paycheck right there coming in, right?
It certainly was, mate. Yeah, very, very needed, and very grateful for it. And thank you for everything. Like I said, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Well, I appreciate you so much. And again, thanks for sharing your story, and we will see you on the next video.